Today, I want to welcome best-selling author, speaker, and consultant Doepker. Hi, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, great, great. Could you please tell us a bit about your journey into becoming a best-selling fitness and motivation author?
Sure thing. I didn't imagine I'd be an author at all because my background is I was a guitar player. So I
Mm-mm,
went and got a degree in music,
mm-mm,
and so my whole life's purpose was set out that I was going to go and become a rock star.
mm-mm,
I moved to Los Angeles in in 2011, and as I was pursuing my music career
mm-mm,
at the time, I was also valet parking cars and
mm-mm,
barely able to pay the rent. And so
mm-mm,
as I was sleeping on an air mattress each night, I was also thinking, okay, what's the way that I can share my passion? And besides music, I was also passionate about health and fitness. Like,
mm-mm,
how can I take that and build some sort of business
mm-mm,
around it?
mm-mm,
So I got into blogging and YouTube videos, created a whole training course on health and fitness, and ended up not even I could barely even sell it to my own friends and family
mm-mm,
when I launched this first course and book.
mm-mm,
And so that kind of put me in this mindset of, okay, if I can't even sell a course for $1 to my own friends and family, I'm not sure I have what it takes to do this. So I got kind of down on myself for a little bit, but then I realized that, this is all. Uh, I got through that time. I kept saying to myself, this is all part of my before and after story. And
mm-mm,
so I kept. Um, I got the sense of I really need to learn and master this whole marketing thing. And I'll make a somewhat shorter story out of it, but I kept going. And one day I won something in the mail that I didn't
mm-mm,
realize would change my life. Uh,
mm-mm,
yeah, which was a Kindle e-reader. And
mm-mm,
I won this Kindle e-reader. I go, okay, so I've written all this stuff on my blog. No one's buying it. Maybe I'll publish a Kindle book and see what happens. So I published my first Kindle book, and it sells about 3 copies. One copy was to my mom, so that didn't work out too well. And uh, then I went to a seminar in November of 2011. A man named Brandon Broadwater, and he taught me the final missing piece when I needed to learn. It was all about influence and relationships. And so I took that and I took all the knowledge I had gathered up to that point about marketing and book publishing. And I wrote and I launched my third book called 50 Fitness Tips You Wish You Knew. And within a week of launching it, it became a #1 bestseller in weight loss. And it generated almost $6,000 in royalties in 11 days. So at that point, I realized I'd cracked the code of how to publish a best-selling book. And so since then, I continued to publish books in health and fitness and then personal development, each one going on to become a bestseller. And then I also started helping other authors because I'd set this intention early on. Like, once I figure this out, I'm going to help other people so they don't have to struggle as much as I did. And that was early 2013. I started coaching and created a training course for authors to help them with book publishing. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Now, could you please give us some tips on how to tap into our inner strength in order to experience more happiness, motivation, and fulfillment, regardless of what's happening in our lives?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a number of things, and I'll give you. There's going to be probably two of the most powerful things that I can share with you. One thing, it would be if I could only share one thing with the world. I thought about this. Like, if I was on my deathbed and I could only pass on one tip or insight that would have the biggest breakthrough in people's lives, it would be the 3 magic words technique. And the reason why I love this so much is because it helps with overcoming fear, overcoming procrastination, and it overcomes one of the biggest obstacles, which I'll mention in a moment, or I'll explain in a moment, which is about like low self-belief, not believing in yourself as much. So the way the technique works, 3 magic words, and what the 3 magic words are, they are, can I just? And what you then do is you follow it up with a micro commitment. So I'll give a health and fitness example. For instance, so let's say someone goes, I want to start exercising, but they're struggling and procrastinating. So it would look like this. As Stephen Geis, author of Many Habits, used this concept. It's like, okay, can I just do one push up? Can I just do one jumping jack? Whatever it is. It's like it's so simple and easy, and that's the reason for using the phrase "can I just." The just is like a reminder to pick something so easy that it's almost harder to say no to it. It's almost like I can't do one jumping jack. And if I couldn't even do that, it's like, can I just stand up out of my chair and sit back down? Right. And it might sound kind of funny, like, well, what's that going to do? But the secret is that momentum generates motivation. And if you've ever had this experience where it's like sometimes the hardest part is getting started, but once you get into it, then you want to keep going. So the secret is you just make the beginning really easy. Can I just do one push up? Once you do one push up, then I might as well do a few more, and then you do a few more. And so, well, okay, can I just finish out a set? You do a set, and now all of a sudden you're moving and you're feeling good, and then it's like, okay, well, can I just do one more set? Can I just do one more exercise? And you do that piece by piece, and it's okay to quit at any time. That's the key thing, as you got to allow yourself um, to stop at some point. But the idea is you did more than you might have done otherwise. And what happens is this builds up again that momentum. And so I apply this when I'm writing. If I have an article or something to write and I think it seems kind of overwhelming and I'm putting it off, I'm like, well, can I just open up the word processor and type out two sentences, and then I can quit if I want. Once I open it up and type two sentences, then I want to keep going. Okay, can I just finish out a paragraph? Sure. Okay, well, can I just finish out the next part? And no matter how far I get, the point is it's more than I would have done otherwise. And here's the secret why this is one of the reasons why this is so powerful. A lot of times, um, people are waiting for motivation or to feel like they are ready or capable, or all these sort of identity interchange sort of things. And I'm a big believer in that. Your inner world creates your outer world. But it also works in reverse. So what I find is that if you start taking actions, your actions start to create a new identity for you. So all of a sudden, a person who, let's say, every time they set a New Year's resolution, they get started and then they're good for a little bit and then they quit, and they keep setting a resolution over and over to do something, and maybe they get started, but they don't follow through. What happens is that creates this belief of eventually this inner doubter comes in that says, oh, really? You think you're going to do this again? How many times have you told yourself you were going to do that and you didn't follow through? And so it feeds that voice of the doubter. But the great thing about the can I just and micro commitments is that by sticking with these small commitments and following through, you now go, oh, I can actually trust myself to follow through on my word. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but for some people, the secret is actually to lower their level of commitment, but make sure that they're following through on every single commitment you make. And then you just allow yourself to go above and beyond that commitment whenever you want. So, I mean, we could have a whole conversation about just that one technique alone. But I would say if there's anything that, in any area of life, your relationships, your productivity, if you have a business, health and fitness is a great area. Anything that's been put off or has seemed overwhelming or anything like that, you can use the can I just to get started. And I mentioned the concept of fear. Let's say someone fears public speaking. Well, I'll just use that as an example because it's very common. The way you could do it with this is, well, can I just speak to one person, or can I just record myself on video and then I can delete it? I don't even have to show anyone. It's like, okay, well, yes, I can do that to practice. And then maybe can I just show one friend who I really trust? Can I show a few more people? Can I just now speak to a group of one close friend? Now maybe two people, now five people. And you just gradually ramp it up. And the idea is you're stretching your comfort zone, but you're not outright breaking it. And what happens is this gives you the ability to always have wins, to always create that success time and time again. And the second thing I'll share um, would be that's a process of action, taking action for yourself. Another thing would be looking at giving that which you wish to receive. So if a person wants to have a greater sense of value. What's the value that you have to offer the world? This was something I struggled with when I first got into starting my business. Like, who's going to want to listen to me? What do I have to offer? There's a million other people who've written books or speakers or doing whatever, musicians even. And so what I did was I kind of stumbled upon this almost by accident. I remember reaching out to maybe some bloggers and podcasters, and just letting them know what kind of impact that they had on me. And these are ordinary people, ordinary men and women who are sharing something that they were passionate about, but they made a difference in my life. And I let them know that. And I let them know specifically how they made a difference in my life. And what started to happen was, it was like by validating them, I started to realize internally, oh, wait a second, if they can do that, I can do what they're doing. And if what they're doing is valuable, and if I do something similar, that must mean I can be valuable too. And so by giving recognition and acknowledgement to others, you can actually build it up in yourself. The key is, it's not about putting them on a pedestal. Oh man, they're so much better than I am. It's not that. It's going, they have value in this world and I'm just like them and they're just like me. We're both, just flawed human beings doing the best that we can. And if what they're doing is making a difference, then that means I can make a difference too.
So you've written a book entitled Why You're Stuck. Would you kindly explain why you stated in your book that being stuck may be exactly what one needs in order to experience a breakthrough?
Mhm. Yeah. So this was a period when I wrote this book. It was actually after I had a best-selling book, and so I was doing. All of a sudden, my business was had started to take off. I was now making money. I didn't have to sleep on an air mattress. Moving into a new place, or going to move into a new place, months down, shortly, and yet I reached this really low point and went through a depression where I started to go. At this point, I had acknowledged, okay, I can write a book, I can share some things, but I was still going through this whole thing of like, well, what's my purpose? What am I really here to do on this earth? And yeah, I could write some more books. Yeah, I could go out and speak, but is it really going to make that much of a difference? And I started to feel like my life didn't have much meaning. And I also was beating myself up because I'm like, well, I study personal development. I should know better. I should be grateful that things are going so well. And if anyone saw that I was upset, they would probably think like, oh, that's crazy. You're so lucky. Look at all you have. Be grateful. What's wrong with you, Derek? No one was saying that to me, and yet I was saying that to myself. So I was beating myself up at that time. And so ultimately I realized I felt stuck and I couldn't quite see a way out. And then what happens, there's one day I remember when it started to shift, where someone reached out to me, and it was a woman and she wanted coaching, was through something. And I just had this moment where I'm like, I can help other people, but I can't seem to help myself. And during that period of time, I was starting to feel almost like a fraud or something. What really struck me in that moment was I actually had this sort of epiphany, this aha, where I thought about that, and then I felt really good because I go, wait a second, I love helping people, I love coaching people. Well, I'm here I am, I'm feeling like I'm stuck, I don't have a good sense of direction, what I want to do with my life. And then I thought, what if I'm going through this so that I can get through it, overcome it, and then help others who are going through something similar. And it was just this sort of insight that, wait a second, there's not something wrong with me for being in this situation. For so long I was telling myself I shouldn't be, I should have all the answers, I shouldn't be, upset or feeling sad or anything like that. I shouldn't be feeling depressed. And instead I just go, wait, no, it's okay that I'm feeling this way. And it's okay that I'm going through this. This is all just setting me up for how I can help others down the road who are maybe going through something similar. And just that sense, it's not that I had gotten through it at that point, just that realization that, wait a second, being stuck is exactly what I need to be, going through right now so that I start searching for the answers. So that I start reading maybe books that I wouldn't have read before, starting exploring different ideas and techniques and exploring and keeping myself in that mode of growth. So what happens is getting stuck sometimes it's a way to shake you up. It's a way to get you to figure out what your priorities are. Maybe it could mean, perhaps you're going to be able to help someone else who's going through something similar. I don't know what it's going to be for any one individual. What I do have found is that if you approach it with this attitude of what if this is actually exactly what I'm supposed to be experiencing, and what if it's okay to not feel okay, and what if it's okay to not have the answers, because not having the answers puts you on the search, on the journey, on the hunt for new insights and new discoveries. And what if being confused is the catalyst that you need, the impetus to actually go out and search for new answers and new discoveries. And having that realization through that time in my life, that's what helped me then ultimately get through that experience, and it's what inspired the book Why You're Stuck.
Please tell us about your upcoming projects where we can find more about you and your work.
Yeah, so a lot of the work that I do right now, I love helping coaches who want to write a book. Whether that's life coaches, fitness coaches, relationship coaches, anyone who's a messenger, who has knowledge and expertise and wants to write a book, as well as authors, existing authors. That's a lot of the work that I do. Creating some more trainings around that, and I have a lot of other trainings that I've done. And so, if anyone's interested in that realm of my work, you can find out about it, get a free book, Why Authors Fail, at bestsellersecrets.com.
That was awesome, Derek. Thank you so much.